Okay, we're starting the recording. This is the live stream. What is today? Someday. 9/11. That's interesting. Interesting date, 9/11. What we're gonna do is just go over a couple, news things I'm seeing on X right now, and then we'll go over some, like Bitcoin market, that sort of thing. But mostly what this time for is for y'all to ask questions. So, if you want to be at these live streams, just let me know what the best time is for you. Generally, we do them my time, which is, U.S. Central Time, about 9 a.m. on Thursday. But sometimes we'll do them at 5 p.m. my time on Thursday, to try to catch people that maybe can't make them either during the week or, at a different time because they're in a different part of the world. So I'm always willing to accommodate. Y'all just got to let me know what the best time is for you if you're not able to make these. So we got, a couple of people y'all are going to recognize, like Bob Lucas. He's really well known for his, 4-year cycle theory. Let me see if I can zoom in here so you can see better. Oh, actually, on the, I forgot I've got this thing on OBS that I can zoom in. It'll work. Yeah, there we go. So on the recording, I'm actually going to zoom in here. You can't really see it live. Hey, Rab, welcome. So Bitcoin Data 21 on X is a good follow. He's got some interesting, things to look at where he shows, kind of like random charts that you wouldn't normally see. Kind of like people that post the watch charts, like if people are purchasing, those expensive Rolexes and that sort of thing, or if there's not as many people interested in it, sometimes that can be a good, idea as far as whether the market's up or down, that sort of thing. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry. So Bob Lucas is saying, he feels like it's alt season, at least an abbreviated one at the very least, with more selective winners. People are being kind of, standoffish about the alt season, thinking it's not really going to happen, or there's going to be a small one. I think people are just being cautious, but we do believe that there's going to be a good one here in about a month or so. Let's see, Moni doesn't really have anything to say there. Rand here, Crypto Rand, is talking about the M2 money supply. He's saying M2 money supply going off the charts and Bitcoin not catching up. Yeah, that's true. I mean, sometimes we get these, sometimes Bitcoin front runs M2, sometimes it kind of lags behind it and then catches up later. But M2 had a big spike today, which is a good sign. I don't really follow it that often, but you can see right here on the chart, it did have another spike. So, if we're going to believe that liquidity drives cycles, then Bitcoin has much further to go still. And then Tech Dev, he posts some interesting little charts here. This is the liquidity adjusted business cycle, and he's saying we're at a bottom, before another pump. So we'll see how it works out. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to show there. Whoops. Okay, I'm just going to bring up my profile here and show a couple of things I've been posting lately. And then we'll get into questions and that sort of thing, looking at some charts. I posted an update on Cubic. I think y'all saw that last night. So check that out. I posted it in the, in our channel. And this thing on, just managing stress, that sort of thing. So, here's a couple things you can catch up on here. I do want to get into the Degen Plays just because, I know some of you, especially people that have joined the Discord recently, which, by the way, welcome. We're thankful to have you here with us. And of course, we're thankful for our members that have been with us for a long time too. So I just want to let y'all know that we appreciate you. But I also want to be able to explain, how to use these channels better for you. So if there's a specific thing that you want me to show you, just let me know. But just in general, if you go to the Degen chat here, if you are interested in these type of plays, just know that they are risky. And then you go here to the pin section. You can click any of these recent videos. I used to do live streams all the time showing Degen Plays. And right here is one. Okay, we are recording. We've got a few people in. So anyway, it's about a 50-minute video, but you can kind of jump around in it. I always try to timestamp my videos so that you can jump around and, find things that you're specifically interested in. So you can kind of jump through these videos if you are interested in the Degen Plays. Oops, sorry, I forgot I had that on Zoom for those watching the recording. But yeah, I mean, you can watch these videos and kind of get a feel for the way that I play these. But just understand they are very risky. They're brand new launches. We don't really know what's going to happen with them. The thing that we do know is that we track 500 different wallets, in this Degen chat, all these little, 1x buy early alpha, 2x buy early alpha, which these channels, what they do is they search through. I don't think you can see these now. I removed it so you didn't have too much clutter on your screen, but I've got, let me find it here. I think it's this high conviction wallet channel. So what it's doing is it's pulling information from the 400 or 500 wallets that we track. And so these are like token deployers. They're, maybe really good smart money wallets that are consistently making profit. And it pulls that information and says, okay, if we get one buy, from these wallets, then I want you to post it here on the 1x buy early alpha channel. If we get two, then that's more conviction. If it matches two contract addresses, then you're going to get a post in here, an automatic signal here saying, this one has received 2 buys from our smart money wallets there. And then, more and more conviction, here's 5. And then there's also one here that combines Moni and Nansen. So like our wallets that we track plus Moni to give you that socials plus, smart money view. So, I don't really recommend somebody to get into these Degen plays unless they just want to play, mostly new launches like that. But if it's something you're interested in, watch those videos in Degen chat pin section. And, the thing that we really recommend for new members, of course, is to do the spot plays. So if you haven't already, go up to T.Insight signals and, of course, read her updates here because they're pertinent right now. But click the spreadsheet link and request access. And once you do that, she will grant you access within a couple hours. And you can click over. Actually, I usually don't like to show the spreadsheet on video. We don't want the video to be distributed out to people that aren't in the group. So I'm not going to click on it. But basically what it shows is targets based on math, based on fibs, local targets and final market top targets that we think are going to hit. T.Insight, she worked real hard to put this together. And so we also have these coded in our engineering robo. Where's it at? So in the engineering robo AI alerts, once we start getting near these targets, you're going to get a signal here saying, it's nearing this target for this particular token on spreadsheet. I mean, it's not going to say that exactly, but you get the idea. It's going to give us an early warning. And T.Insight, she's also watching for the market top based on Bitcoin's price. So she's keeping an eye on that for you. We're not gonna round trip. We're looking to exit the market at the right time and take profits this time. And welcome, T.Insight's in here with us. Welcome Sylvan and some user. Oh, and Saint's here. That's cool. So Saint is actually, I believe he's community mod over at Moni. He might be a dev there too, or one of their alpha hunters, but it's good to have you here, Saint. So we do have some of the Nansen people in our group. We do have some Moni people here as well. For example, here's the founder of Moni right here, Gary. But Moni is a great app that y'all see me talk about sometimes. I really feel like it's the best socials app for crypto. But maybe we'll get into that later in the video or something. But let's jump into just what the market looks like very quickly. Here's your futures view. And don't really worry about all these other lines and stuff back here. We don't need those right now. I mean, there is a CME gap that we could touch again way back here. But, we may not actually touch this until after the cycle's over. So we'll see. But currently what you're looking at, in fact, I'm just going to delete that for now. What you're looking at currently is the daily chart. We did have a CME gap here that has been fully covered, of course, at this point. So really, it doesn't even matter. But, well, I do want to leave that there. But I can take off the CME gap wording. So this is our area of resistance currently. So if you think of it like a cloud or something like that, it's actually good to see that we're pushing back up into it. But I do want to see, Bitcoin get above like 117K-ish area. And we are curling up here on the RSI, so that's a good sign. I really like to look at the 2-day. I mean, I know a lot of you seen me talk about that. It gives it, one more day to give us a more strong signal. And we are possibly pushing above the 14-day EMA right now, so that's a good sign as well. This is a very strong candle after a dip. You know, it's getting back above some of these levels here. You can see right there about 114K, there was a bottom that was lost, and we're trying to recover that. So things looking pretty good short term. We're not so necessarily worried about the Bitcoin price as long as it doesn't dip really hard. That's the only thing we don't want to see. What we're really concerned about is the others chart, something like this. And we have seen a buy signal here on the 3-day chart, which is good. What you're looking at here is a cloud for engineering robo AI. And so usually it's like, you buy with the green cloud, you sell with the red cloud. But when price has been down for a while for alts and it starts to push back up into that red cloud, that's a good sign. It was resisting all the way down and now it broke back above in it and it's acting as support. This was the support zone that we had marked, a while back, and it hit that support zone just barely. So we're moving back up, and resistance will be, or at least, a local top will happen somewhere, at the top of this cloud when we finally get up to that point. But a lot of room for the alts to run, I believe. And then Bitcoin dominance is still dipping. That's a good sign for us, while ETH Bitcoin pair, is climbing. So the only reason we're seeing a little bit of a pause here is because, this isn't the real reason, but at least we can show it on a chart. Bitcoin dominance is hitting that 50 RSI and bouncing just a little bit, while ETH BTC is rejecting at that 50. But we're going to see continuation there. It's just, it's kind of pausing for now. Okay, so let's see. Let me just check chat here real quick before I get started. I do have one question. Hey, Leon, welcome. I did start the recording, of course, and anytime, I just want to remind y'all, anytime y'all can interrupt me, jump on the voice chat, turn on your mic, say whatever you want to say, it's fine. But of course, talk in chat over here if you'd rather do it that way. Let's see. Yeah, there's Saint right there. There's Rab. There's Tatiana. Ola, our queen. Oh yeah, it's all good, Saint. We just appreciate you being here. Okay. Oh yeah, you are community lead. Okay, so I was right. Good. All right. Let's do this. I'm gonna bring up a question. Sometimes people can't make the live stream, so they DM me their questions. And if you have any question, today and you're in here, just go ahead and post it in the chat there, and I'll get to it. So he wants to look. Grizzly wants to look at SIRE. He tends to look at a lot of different base plays, so I'm going to look at that one for him. Get Nansen to get going here. It's got to wake up. There we go. So what I like to do, and I'm going to show you something else cool. Oh, wait, I may have to get the contract address. So what I like to do sometimes is also paste this into, or ask the Nansen agent a question about these. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in action. Of course, this is only available to the Nansen professional user so far, but it is coming to Nansen Pioneer, the lower cost option. Looks like SIRE actually had a huge dip. This does tend to happen with brand new launches sometimes, and it recovers. But let's see, I'll show you what I look for. Usually I go to the holders tab here for any token I'm looking at. I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I ask the Nansen agent. Minimize this. Okay, so this is the Nansen agent. I'm just gonna say, give me detailed analysis of SIRE price action on base. So it's going to go through its thing, and it may take it a minute or two, but it'll save me a lot of time. Basically, that's what it's doing. It's acting as my AI agent. Okay, here we go. So here's what I'll look at, just so you know, and some of you have seen this in the videos before, but I just want to go through it again since he was asking. Number one, you can see all the smart money that is involved in this token down here, and you can see the value that they own. And you can even see the most recent transactions they've made. So within the last 24 hours, we've got a smart money wallet here that is profitable. You know, they got a P&L of about 20K over the last 90 days. Their net worth is about 150K, and they've got a win rate of 41%. They don't trade too often. They've only done two trades out of the last 7 days, but that's good. I mean, we want to see somebody that just has high conviction, that maybe doesn't trade a whole lot. You know, we want to see somebody that is looking for those unrealized gains, wants to hold until the top of the market. So the 180-day traders tend to hold longer. You know, that's kind of what that means. 30-day traders tend to hold about 30 days and they sell. So, you know, our favorite smart money type of wallet to look at is probably like 180-day or 90-day. But you can also see who's been buying and selling the last 7 days, 30 days. If it's red, they sold or sent it out to a different wallet. If it's green, either they transferred it in, you know, from a different wallet, or they bought it. Sometimes you have to look through and you know, see what it looked like on you know, on the price action to see if they actually bought it from the exchange. So currently it's pretty flat for smart money. We do know that between smart money and whales, that is your #1 signal to buy and sell. So if this thing was spiking up right now, it would be a clear buy signal. Back here, it was a sell signal. But price went up actually when smart money sold. So, you know, sometimes that happens. They're not always going to be right. Here's what whales look like on SIRE, you know, for Grizzly. This, I mean, it's strange that, I mean, we're looking at a very short-term time frame here, but it's strange to me that they sold into the pump. That usually doesn't happen. So I don't know what's going on here, but we can look at the Nansen agent to give us a, you know, an idea here anyway. Hang on. I was going to zoom in here. Okay, so on the video, I'm zooming in to show what it says here. Oh, it's saying it actually can't look up SIRE for some reason. I don't know why that is. Maybe I just have to provide the contract address to it. Okay, we'll give it a little bit more time. Okay, what else did I want to show you here? I think that's pretty much the gist of it. You do have a quick view here on the right side when you first. Oh, I'm looking at Kodak. Hang on, I got to get back to SIRE. I don't know how that one popped up. Sorry. Oh, there it is right there. Sorry, that was a different tab I had. Yeah, so if we go back to the overview, it does take Nansen a little bit sometimes to work, but that's just the way it is. It's got a lot of data it has to bring up. But here's kind of the cards on the right side that you can see what's been happening, like a quick snapshot. So you got fresh wallets, they're up about 24%, you know, not a huge jump. Public figures has bought barely anything, and the top P&L traders has bought barely anything. So price is very stagnant right now on this one after this big dump. This is definitely not a token you'd want to get into. You'd want it to develop some kind of support sideways first. But, you know, brand new token, very risky. You know, I'm sure Grizzly is just kind of hoping this thing pumps for him if he's still in it, or he's looking for a position, right? Let me check chat before I get into the rest of his questions here. Okay. Yeah, so y'all just let me know if you have any questions or you know, talk on chat there, or talk on your voice chat. All right, so here's the other one Grizzly wanted me to look at. He just put a CA for it. I think this is ETHY, and we have talked about ETHY before. Let's see, no, that was a SIRE CA. He actually provided it for me. It does help if you provide the CA, you know, if it's one that's not very obvious. Yeah, ETHY AI by Virtuals on base. Pretty much anything by Virtuals seems to pump at some point, so just remember that. You know, especially going forward as the alt market continues up. But I feel like, you know, Tatiana and Rod and I, we saw the pivot coming, you know, once the meme started going crazy in 2024. So we immediately tried to pivot from, you know, ETH chain and long holds. We wanted to provide you more, you know, degen trades and the meme type things. But we're kind of seeing the thing, you know, everything switch now where, you know, the ETH Bitcoin pair found a bottom, and now memes are not, you know, they don't have nearly as much volume. So it seems to us that, you know, things have shifted again where people want to hold longer and try to make, you know, money on spot trades. And we really recommend that because it's just a safer way to trade. But just, you know, if you are into the degen trades, just let me know and I'll help you out with that. I just don't see it as being as beneficial as holding spot plays right now. So here's ETHY, last 7 days, what I'm gonna look at. And looks like the top P&L traders are putting a lot of sell pressure on this one. And fresh wallets really aren't stepping in yet. You know, you'd at least have to see that, or smart money or whales purchasing. And I'm not really seeing that right now. So I think, you know, the top 100 wallets are accumulating, but there is a buy signal there because, you know, smart money did increase their position, but it's just not that much of a change. I'd want to see more conviction here first. And price is creeping up just a little bit, but you know, if we were to paste this into you know, the AI agent for Nansen, I bet it would tell us that there's still some distribution to come for ETHY. And for those that don't know, distribution just means that there's, you know, more sell pressure coming, most likely. Yeah, here's the feedback it gives, and I'm not going to go through this too much, but this is the feedback it's giving on that one we were just looking at for Grizzly. It's saying for SIRE that there's a 60% probability of a bullish case, that I'm trying to read it here. Strong 7-day trend with profitable traders holding. Bearish case probability 40%, and then it's kind of giving you a recommended strategy here. You know, small allocation. You know, be patient with your allocation. Wait for pullback. So this is what you can expect once they release this AI agent to everybody else. You know, I think it's very useful for everybody. I think you'll all enjoy it. But I'll continue sharing it. If you don't want to get Nansen, it's fine. You know, I'll keep sharing it with you. All right, let's get back to chat. I think I covered all those for him. Hey, Luke, welcome. Okay, so y'all just let me know what you want to cover. I mean, this is your time here. So, you know, talk here in chat or open up your mic and, you know, let's get into some more things here. If you have a question for Saint, I mean, you know, maybe for those that join late, Saint is the community moderator over at Moni, and you know, he can answer any questions about Moni as well. Which, for those that don't know, I'm going to pull it up here on a different screen. I just thought, since he's in here, I'll show you what Moni looks like. They have a really cool Mindshare feature now that I think a lot of people would enjoy using. I'm just going to showcase that for you real quick. Here we go. All right, so you can go over here to Mindshare. A lot of different options. I mean, you could just do, like, say if you were just interested in L1s. Let me clear this. I think this is across all chains. Let me verify. Yeah, there's Avalanche. Okay. So even though it shows Solana highlighted there, I don't think that's the case. But what Moni is, for those that aren't familiar with it, it tracks all social sentiment for crypto over X. You know, everything that's happening on X, it's tracking all that for you. You can have a watch list full of the best alpha hunters, and that's exactly what we have right here. If I go down here to Moni X alerts, under this Moni X Smart Alpha, if you ever want to look through here, these are some of the best accounts you can find. I went through and curated them, like D Farmer, he's really good. If I was to click through to his Twitter, here he is right here. You know, sometimes they're not going to post what they're actually tracking, the projects they're tracking. Like if they find something that's brand new that just launched. But what you'll do is, if you have a watch list, you'll actually have it like this. I mean, if you had your own little private Discord or something, you could set it up very easily to alert you here like this. But what happens is, of course, that was a tweet right there, but sometimes you'll see them following a certain project. I'm trying to find one here. That was them quoting. Anyway, they're gonna you know, jump into certain projects. They're gonna follow them, and then that's when we get that information here. And then we're looking for contract addresses that get matched. So, you know, maybe somebody on Nansen, a smart money wallet, buys it, and then maybe somebody on Moni X follows a certain project, and then we're going to get that signal, and that's more conviction for us. But, you know, just getting back to this Mindshare, that's basically what this is. It's just showing you the most, you know, the most talked about projects currently over the last 7 days. So you have things like Solana, Hyperliquid, you know, all the ones that you're used to seeing, Ethereum, Sui. But you can come over here to the top 21 to 50, you know, maybe some of these lower ones, that haven't reached the top of the page just yet, and find some things that, you know, VeChain's an older one, but, you know, maybe it's starting to gain some ground. You know, maybe people are talking more about it. Or I'm trying to think of what maybe a new, there's Hedera Hashgraph right there, or Injective. Well, Dogecoin, that's a good one, right? You know, if we look at some that are a little bit on the fringes, even more, I'm trying to find one that's fairly new. Codex, Converge, I don't really see anything that jumps out to me. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the, of course, we're just looking at L1s here, but we're seeing a lot of the older tokens that haven't really pumped yet, like IOTA. So, you know, expect that that's still going to continue to have. Here's one. So this is fairly new token, Kita, that still, you know, people are talking about there. So that could mean that, you know, possibly it's going to pump again. And that's the way it works. If you see a lot of social sentiment, like see these little, if you can see that. So see where this one curls up right there? That means there's an increase in social activity. So for Hyper Foundation here, and some of these may not be launched yet, but most of them are. But if you see that uptick, then that could give you a signal that maybe the price is starting to move up as well, because they do go hand in hand. But anyway, just check that out. You know, if you're interested in Moni, check this out. I do have a discount in our little video thing up here. Video content. There it is. So they did give me a 15% off link here if you want to check that out. Okay. Since there's no questions right now, let me see what I can find for you. We can look at, trying to get my screen back. There we go. We can look at Nansen and just see what's going on this morning. Of course, we're kind of in, we talked about, you know, Bitcoin dominance finding a little bit of support currently before its next dip. So that's kind of the phase we're in right now, where usually the full moon does create a pump, but it hasn't been a strong pump yet, you know, for Bitcoin. In fact, it looks like we're rejecting again currently. So here's what I would, and I didn't mean to jump back into price action, but it just got me to thinking, you know, maybe we still come up here somewhere in there and reject again. You know, there's still a possibility of something like this occurring, you know, where we, and don't worry about the dates here, although that could be right. There's still a possibility of something like this happening. So don't be surprised if we, you know, sweep below here and then get moving. All we really care about is if Bitcoin can do some kind of sideways action, you know, nothing significant as far as a huge dip. We just don't want to see it coming way down here, right? Which I don't think is going to happen, you know, because it is acting pretty strong. But since we didn't get a huge full moon pump like we usually get, I think this is one of those full moons where things are just kind of stagnant, and then we're going to get that full moon pump in October, early in October, and maybe in late September, or maybe in late, or is it September we're in? Yeah. So late September, we get a, you know, get that bottom, and then it starts to move up. That can definitely happen. Okay, what was I going to show you, Nansen? Yeah, here's the 7-day smart money, just to, you know, give you a quick peek at it. Your net flows are the most important thing. I mean, I kind of mentioned it or hinted at it before, but the very most important thing that you can look for high conviction in any token is either, you know, with Moni, social conviction, where there's a lot of people that are, you know, considered a smart alpha hunter, basically. You know, it's the opposite side of Nansen. It's the social side. Whereas here we're looking at on-chain data for smart money. So we really need to see conviction from the best traders, you know, the smart money traders, or the whales. Whales work as well. And what I was showing in a public video just the other day is this. I don't know if this is going to be a good example, but I'm going to bring up GRIFFAIN. This was a huge AI play. What was it, Solana? Yeah, it's on Solana chain. I guess it was maybe 8 months ago, something like that. And whoever that is on your mic, feel free to go ahead and talk whenever you want. You can interrupt me, it's fine.
Oh, sorry, it was me. I didn't know I had my mic on.
It's okay. In fact, if you want to say anything, you know, feel free to jump in here.
You know, Luke just was asking about what's it called, that GFI, the RWA play. So I told him that you pull up the chart for us right now so we could look it over.
Okay, yeah, Goldfinch, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, let me just talk really quickly about this, and then I'll jump into that one. So what I was talking about in the public video I did this week is you can actually use this information, like here I am on Smart Money, or use the whale information here. Like here I am on 7-day. Of course, this showed up on September 4th, but notice how, what did they own? 0.59% supply, and it went up to 1.24. So this is a huge signal. I mean, the supply owned by Smart Money went up 100%, and you can actually see it right there. It went up 108%. But if you ever see this convergence where, see how as price was coming down, this gray line is your price, and this gold line is your, it's basically the token supply. So if this is climbing, if it's going up, that means that Smart Money is accumulating. And if it's going down, it means they're selling. But as this right here crossed the price line, you know, price went down while this was going up, that was a convergence, or, you know, you could even call it a bullish divergence if you want, where there was clear interest in the token while a support level, or while, you know, distribution was still happening. And distribution is when, you know, people are selling off, when they're selling tokens. So because the supply jumped almost 1%, it was close to 1%. That's high conviction, and they continue to hold, right? So in my opinion, because this Smart Money wallet, and I think it was this one maybe, oh, it was the Sigil Fund, okay. So Sigil Fund and Will Jeetson, or Will Jeetsoon.Sol, this is an individual's wallet, they continue to hold. Actually, this one sold just a little bit, but you know, for the most part, they're continuing to hold. There's no dips here. So they're expecting price to go up. I think that's still bullish, even though the signal was way back here. I think this is still bullish because they haven't sold yet. So this is what you want to look for if you're using Nansen, or if you have another way to look at Smart Money. You just need to see some kind of conviction like that between, you know, Smart Money and whales. It works for both of them. And then, you know, just to kind of complete that thought, if you see, I'm going to go to a higher time frame here. If you see that they're selling off at any point, here we go on the whales. Yeah, so see how this converges as well, where the sell pressure continues by whales, and it looks like a peak's coming in here because the, you know, them selling off their supply as it dips, it's crossing, you know, price right there. So this was a sell signal, and then it didn't get back above until right here, September 5th or 6th. So here's your buy signal. Here's your sell signal. Hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't, we can go over some more. So we're going to look at GFI for Luke. And we can also take a look at the chart. I haven't really been bringing up charts, but in a way, you know, these are the charts. You know, these are kind of like the move before the move when you're looking at this. But I do like that Nansen has the chart here, you know, on the screen for you, to where you don't have to go to TradingView or anything. And I believe that they are, you know, working on more developments. They're working really closely with Moni as well, you know, sharing ideas, that sort of thing. So it's great to have that collaboration. Good to see, you know, two of the best companies out there that have real working products that help people. There's not that many apps out there like that, right? You get projects that launch and they just dump on people and don't have a real product. So this looks like it could be a double bottom for GFI. What are we on the daily chart? Yeah, so that's looking pretty good there. That's a long-term support area. Yeah, we're close to it. I'm not saying it can't come back down here to 33 cents, but we could consider this on a longer-term time frame, a higher low. And you're maybe getting a breakout here if we put a trend line. I've seen, well, it's probably more like that, but I've seen this pattern before where, you know, this is a distribution, obviously, but you know, it'll come down, it'll fake out, it'll come down, fake out a few more times, and then it'll finally be ready to take off. Sometimes these are more sideways patterns, sometimes they're moving up, sometimes they're moving down like this. So this looks good to me. I think this support's probably going to hold at 50 cents. And we'll just look at the holders here because we really want to see some conviction, right? Maybe it's not showing up yet, but we'll take a look at it anyway. So there's no whale involvement. And you're going to see that sometimes. You're going to see that, you know, sometimes there's not even smart money, and fresh wallets or retail are the ones that are pushing price. But we do know that once the alt market really gets going in full swing, it, you know, everything goes up, right? Some will just have like a 5x move if they're a higher cap. Some are going to have, you know, a 40x move or more. We don't really know exactly which ones they will be, but in that spreadsheet that Tatiana worked on, we feel like we have a pretty good list of tokens that, you know, they have a very good chance of doing that. So if we look at the top 100 addresses, which doesn't, sorry?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
But can you please pull up the chart in TradingView? That way I could also look at it with,
Yeah.
can you please put it in log?
Mm-hmm. All right, GFI. We'll go to log. Okay, it is on log. Let me take off the, there we go. Need to move this. And I'll bring up the RSI as well. So here's our real support. I had it in the wrong spot. Let's go to the weekly and the RSI. Do I have that? Yeah, there we go. But I want to do the EMA version. Okay. I know you like to look at the weekly as well, so I was going to bring that up for you. Did you want to comment on that while I have it up?
Yeah, but I'm going to need the EMA bands as well, the 21 and the 51, because I want to see where they're standing currently.
21, 51. I have. This one lets me change it. No, I'll just bring up that other one. I've actually got one that I use that, you know, for anyone that hasn't seen this, I'm going to show you a really nice free EMA band here. 21. Do the EMA. 21 and 51. Okay, I'm just going to show those. I'll hide these. So this thing's called the Arty, or you can look up the Phoenix on TradingView, and it's really nice. It even has a dynamic. Oh wait, that's not the one I'll show. It has a dynamic EMA as well, which will turn red and green. You know, kind of like back here, it'll turn green if things get bullish. But here's a solid look. So your 51 is the white, and your 21 is the blue. Is that how you wanted it? You still there? Or did I lose you?
Sorry, I was talking to myself.
Oh.
I was saying that I was saying pretty much we're at a double bottom and it hasn't even hit the 50. So Luke would be buying in the actual base of entire price action.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why I wanted to see this is because there's a pattern going on within the altcoins that when it bottoms its first spike, you saw this recently within Pith, it spikes up to the 51, then it has some resistance, and then it goes choppy sideways again until it continues its push up of to break above the 51. So for you, Luke, if you want to buy this, I think you're at a good time right now. You're literally be buying into the base.
So you're basically saying something like that.
Yeah.
It rejects there, and then maybe a triangle pattern, and then breaks out. Yeah, it does look
I
pretty
don't
good.
know if it's a triangle pattern. I don't even think it's just literally a hitting its resistance and then hitting back its support line and then just breaking up. It's not really a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
triangle pattern really, but yeah, it's just a pattern that's been notably across all altcoins, and you can kind of get to see what I mean. This is why I said Pith was playing catch up, because like if you would compare it to SEI had already done that, and those that haven't done it, for instance, Goldfinch right now is going to do the exact same thing, right? Because they're all getting in a position of leaving accumulation And in order for them to leave accumulation, they're going to bounce off that base where it currently is right now.
Yeah, that's a good look. I had never looked at that. Oh yeah, the RSI on Pith is looking real good too. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good insight from T.Insight. Let's see. That was kind of corny. What? Let me find
You
where
and
we
your
were.
dad jokes these days.
I'm not even a dad either. I don't know where I got it from. Uh, so yeah, I mean, just to jump back over here on the Nansen side of things, Goldfinch, not really seeing a whole lot of smart money involvement, but again, you know, we're not necessarily worried about that. I mean, we want to buy before they get in if we can. So technically, though, on the top 100 holders, you know, if you're just considering this as retail, which it is for the most part, but there are some token millionaire wallets down here as well. You know, there is kind of a buy signal in here on the 7-day chart, but yeah, I mean, I would just say if you're happy with that level, then you know, go ahead and start accumulating some. You don't have to go all in. You know, you can you know, take little bites here and there and until you get your full position that you want. I think there's still time to
I
be
mean, I feel
patient.
like when you are, yeah, I feel like when you're looking at a project, right? For instance, Goldfinch or Ondo, um, I think it's nice to enter before the impulse. I feel like you wait for the impulse for an actual confirmation for a project that you're kind of uncertain about to see how it performs. And those are usually the low caps, right? But like something that has like great backing, like Ondo and Goldfinch, I think those are very important to take into account that you want to go before it gets hyped up or the impulse comes in. You want to be where it literally is boring and no one's really talking about it. So you have to kind of navigate what projects you're really giving the attention to, because that you have to also see, like, is it a project that you want to be extra strategic and being early, or do you want more confirmation that it's actually going to perform well? And those are usually, like I said, higher risks. So you can't treat it like one all across the board, because it's not like that, is what I'm trying to say. So
Mm-hmm.
just something to throw out there.
Yeah, that's great. Good advice. Um, yeah.
Okay.
What? I know I sound very flippant when I say things. No, I do appreciate it. I mean, that is good advice. Yeah, I mean, using your strategy here, you know, with your EMAs, it does look like, you know, Ondo is trying to find some support in this area after a long downtrend.
Yeah, but you're also on the daily, so that's
Yeah,
a lot. It's a little different viewpoint.
yeah, there's weekly there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just see. Let me check. I haven't looked at chat in a little while here. Yeah, Luke said, oh wait, let me catch up. Yeah, thinking of DCAing GFI card. Oh yeah, Saint's given some information here for us about AI and DeSci. Oh yeah, DeSci. That's interesting because Tatiana was, you know, she let us know about Lake, and I think there was some other DeSci we looked at over the past year. Yeah, Saint agrees.
Yeah, Lake's been literally working my patience.
And Luke likes the way GFI looks. Yeah. Okay. Hang on one second. All right. So yeah, I mean, we can look at. I mean, there's so many, like Ondo. Let's just bring up Ondo since we were already talking about it. There was some positive, um, like some kind of partnership. I can't remember what it was with Ondo. I covered it in one of my videos recently. Of course, we're not too worried about the fundamental side of things. I mean, you know, there's probably, I mean, yeah, it matters which VCs are in projects and stuff like that, but we're more worried about the price action and what it's doing and what we expect to happen in the future. So it's good to hear about these partnerships, sure. You know, it gets us excited about, you know, more eyes being on the project, but you know, you have to have that, the smart money holders, the the whales, they're the ones that have to jump in to really push price. Or we have to see, like right here, for example, with Ondo, we have to see a large fresh wallet presence. So we have a little bit over 4 times the amount of volume from fresh wallets, and that's almost $10 million that have gone into Ondo over the last 7 days. So that's a really good sign. So I would expect that this probably is the bottom. You have a sort of inverted head and shoulders look there, although it's not really connected. It's kind of spread out. But, you know, could this thing come down one more time like that? Sure. You know, there's a possibility. But, you know, somewhere in here is the support, I do believe. It just depends on when, you know, alt season gets going. Speaking of which, if you look at the alt season index, you know, just a heads up, we're almost there. So it's almost into this altcoin season, according to this index place. And way back here, we were talking about it, right? Where we were saying, this looks like an inverted head and shoulder as well. And we were saying, you know, a lot of people are expecting this to come all the way back down to Bitcoin season, but this thing just kept pushing up and up and up. And that's the line in the sand right there. I mean, look how close you are to it. It's at 72 right now. 75 is what it considers to be alt season. And the reason for that is it's watching for the top 50 coins to see what percentage is doing better than Bitcoin over the last 90 days. So there's nothing magical about this chart necessarily. It's just, it's using a certain metric down here to figure that out. And look how long it's been since we've actually had a true, you know, altcoin season. It's been 275 days. So we're definitely due. You know, just want to get y'all excited about that. It's going to happen, I do believe. All right, so Ondo.
Time is definitely running out though
Yeah,
for alt season.
yeah, agree.
So people are still waiting. It's just like those people that are still waiting to see something happen are going to be chasing at this point, because once we start running, like most of the alts already have left its base and it's barely retesting its the accumulation top. And once it starts running, literally we're going into wave 3, which is the most impulsive and longest wave for alts. So those that are really trying to wait are going to be missing out and catching the run, while those like us that have been in patiently waiting for it to take off are just going to be sitting there waiting to sell, right? So it's really risky for those that are not. They're pretty much playing the waiting game right now.
Yeah. And that's a good thing to think about is, you know, unfortunately, the people that are going to arrive late are going to be our exit liquidity. But, you know, there has to be liquidity, right, for us to be able to buy and sell. You know, it's really important that we have it there. So, what were you saying on Ondo? Oh, yeah. So Ondo, this was a buy signal way back here on September 8th. And you can see as price went up, you know, people bought more and more from the top 100 addresses. Price didn't go up much though, did it? No, it didn't. Maybe 10 cents or so. So, you know, there's still opportunity here, obviously. It hasn't moved much. And this is a good signal, but let's look at smart money. I don't think there's much movement here either. Yeah, pretty flat. But I mean, look how many, this is one thing to consider going forward, is that you've got a lot of big money holders. Of course, you know, this is a high market cap token, so there's a lot of liquidity on the buy and sell side. But just understand that if you start to see a lot of red here, like if you use Nansen, and we'll be keeping an eye on it, but if you start to see a lot of red where people are selling once we get to the top of the market, then that's also a signal that the top is near or in. So we can use that to our advantage as well, not just on the buy side, but on the sell side as well. And here's a buy signal from Wales. Their supply percent owned didn't go up much. It was just this, I always laugh when it's just a guy named Fred. So here's Fred. But it's cool that you can, on Nansen, I just opened this up in a different tab, so I'm going to click over to it. You can go over here. This is a public figure. So it's XBT Fred is actually who it is. They just like nicknamed him that in Nansen. And then you can actually click on his socials and, you know, see what he's about, see some of his posts here. So this is another good way to find people. You know, Moni is probably the best way to find socials. But, you know, if you find a wallet that you like on Nansen, maybe they're holding similar tokens to you. Here's all his holdings. He's got 20K in Ondo. then you know, that's another option for you there.
So creepy because you're like invading someone's privacy.
Yeah, I
If you
mean,
really think about it.
you know, I think that's why we see so many fresh wallets made and like transfers of tokens within on-chain data. It's really shifted to a lot of that now because they don't want to be seen as much. But then
Yeah, I know. I
again,
mean, I can only imagine.
I mean, then again, if you're a social, you know, if you're on socials and you want to build your name as being a good trader,
Yeah.
then I could see, you know, the
No.
benefit of that. Yeah.
Is there benefit though? I mean, being able to like become such a big person and they know your holdings and you become more vulnerable to hackers at that point.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, some people don't mind it for whatever reason, but I mean, I wouldn't want my stuff to be out there.
I mean, you better be careful because you're already at 3,000. I'm a little tagpole. I'll stay to my 100 followers. I'm fine with
Well,
that.
that's the thing. Yeah, you wanted to stay under the radar. I kind
I
of
do for that
I got
reason.
crazy with it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're
You like the spotlight, I'm all for it.
well, sometimes. But I mean,
Someone has
you
to.
yeah, I mean, you would have a ton more followers for sure if you actually cared about how many you had.
Yeah, I don't want to though.
Hmm,
No.
yeah.
No. Especially in crypto. Like what I mean, like in the sense of like they can find your wallets and see what you hold and know your whole
Yeah.
business. Because not only that, I'm sure you can see where they're sending money, right? Like the other wallets they have. You can't
Oh yeah.
escape it.
Yeah, you can track them eventually. I mean, I don't know how Nansen does it, how they're able to track it like that, but somehow they figure it out.
Luke is hilarious.
Yeah, that new boot GOOFIN, that's one of the best. I don't want to show the video, but there's like a GIF of it here somewhere, maybe. This is from what's the name of that? Reno 911. This is an old. I'm just goofing, new boot goofing. I like the one where he jumps right here. So this is one of the best.
Grizzly's trying to get Grizzly's trying to become Twitter famous so he could have people pump his bags.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Saint had to go. That was cool of him to jump in. I mean, we've had Moni people in our channel for many months and Nansen, but you know, a lot of times they're just too busy to jump into our lives or whatever. But if y'all ever have questions for them, you know, you use their products or whatever, you could probably just reach out to them from our server here, and they might, you know, respond to you. Let's see.
Can you pull up the Moonwell chart? Because
Yeah,
Luke wants to talk that over.
I was just looking at that. Let's see. Oh yeah, I have it up over here. I forgot. There we go. Weekly, and you want your same. Actually, since I already have your stuff up on this one, let me bring it up here. Don't have to do the EMAs again. I guess Gate.io might have the long. Yeah, there we go. Is that what you want, the weekly?
Yeah, can you extend the RSI for me? Have it up already?
Like,
Okay, yeah, you do.
yeah.
Okay, so he asked, I saw the other day you said the Moonwell chart was looking beautiful. I was gonna dollar cost average into that. What were you seeing on the chart? So the reason why I'm in love with this chart is because originally, when I did the measurements for its spreadsheet, I went from its recent top to its recent bottom to measure its trajectory. But then recently, I saw that it's actually a bigger trajectory because of the bullish divergence, the hidden bullish divergence that we have in the RSI, meaning that we have to measure the recent top to not its recent bottom to but the bottom between around July. That's the actual bottom measurement that we have to do because of that hidden bullish divergence that we have in the RSI. which takes us to the 63-cent level. It's pretty much a perfect example of this is Bitcoin, right? I said that if we were to go into the range of 104 to 110, we would our trajectory would change from 135 to 150 because of the same reason, because the hidden bottom of the RSI is now there's a divergence, meaning that the price action is on the other side. So which is now why we sit at 150, right? So that's pretty much what we're doing here with Moonwell as well, and which is why we have now the target at 63 cents. So this is why I am very bullish on Moonwell, and I think it's going to melt faces because of this reason. So when I see this running, because like we saw in Bitcoin in April 7th, we had a very impulsive move, right? So usually with the hidden bullish divergences, there's always an impulsive move to come. So not only is a trajectory higher, but when it runs, it's going to be pretty euphoric because it's going to be very impulsive. And that is what I'm expecting from Moonwell because of the RSI.
So your fib pull was from this top to this bottom?
Now, originally, it was from the recent top to its recent bottom.
Mm-hmm. And I know you use candle bodies instead, I think, don't you? On the weekly?
Yeah, so that it was around the 44 range. So now, because it's not that, it's from that top where you have now to its previous bottom, we have it at 63 cents.
This bottom?
No, it's previous bottom.
Over here?
No, it's previous.
Oh, way over here.
Yeah, because of the divergence.
I
So
gotcha.
when there's a divergence, the entire mathematical calculation changes, which is why I said in my recent update that I can't see us touching 100K for the same reason, because if we touch 100K due to the RSI, not only will it invalidate the hidden bullish divergence that we currently have, but now the bottom trajectory that we're going to have to measure is from the 74K, which would put our trajectory to 174K. So that's why, like, I know a lot of people look at the RSI in the sense of like, oh, there's a hidden bullish divergence. That means it's going to go up or it's going to go down. But there's more to it in the sense that when when you use it with fibs, you have to make sure exactly what you're measuring, because it's not necessarily, oh, this is a recent bottom and this is the recent top, and we just measure it from there, and there's a bullish divergence, which means it's going to point up. There's more to it in the sense that because there's a bullish divergence, you're actually, just like it's flipping in the RSI, you have to also flip it in the price action.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
That looks good to me. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what Luke's got here. So how long have we been doing this? We're about an hour in. I mean, we don't have to go the full hour and a half, but if y'all have anything else, we can look at it. That makes 100% sense, Luke says. Okay, good. We can't ever tell if we're making sense. We hope we are. Or at least I can't tell if I'm making sense. I don't want to speak for Tatiana.
I know, what a misogynistic man over there.
let me mansplain this chart for you.
For real.
I think if there's anything else to show y'all. I didn't really have much more to show. Yeah, it's interesting. Well, how did this guy find a future altcoin season chart? Just looked at that thing and it hasn't hit yet.
You probably photoshopped it.
Yeah, he must have. So yeah, we got people starting to post stuff like that now too. You know,
I want to see it's reloaded.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's just about who you follow and who they follow, and I've just got a lot of bullish people, but you know, a lot of people talk about bearish accounts posting a lot. I'm seeing a lot of bullish accounts, really.
Yeah, I mean, now there's a lot of bullish accounts, but when we were at that 120 level, there was a good division between people that thought it was over and people that thought we weren't over. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel now with it being so obvious that we're entering an alt season, I feel most people, there's even an angle where people are like, okay, Bitcoin's done, it's not going to run, and it's all going to alts. So, way majority I think is bullish, but that worries me. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like the getting too much bullishness on your feed.
Yeah, just literally 2 days ago, a friend's grandma, literally a friend's grandma, came to me and was like, Susie told me you're the one I should talk about crypto. And in my head, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, but a real move hasn't
Is that
happened.
no, I mean, that's the thing is that she really specifically wanted Bitcoin though. So I was like, okay, that this just goes to show that Bitcoin is overheated and it really doesn't have much more to go because
Yeah.
there's a reason why it's a famous thing. Once your grandma starts calling, you need to start selling.
Well, I mean, it actually, of course, it is a good sign, but it actually makes a lot of sense because there's been a lot of talk about gold and silver and like 401ks and their news feed is probably filled with stuff like that, and then you get people calling Bitcoin natural gold, and so it's starting to bleed into their the news that they get. I think
Yeah,
definitely
she
makes sense.
wanted to transfer her NASDAQ over to Bitcoin. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of that though within that generation.
Yeah. Bean says my brother bought up gold and my cousin oh, brought up, sorry, I thought I read that as bought up XRP. That's interesting. It's on two different sides of the equation. Makes sense
Do you
though. I
hold
mean,
XRP, like Bean? I know Bean.
Bean's married to Moonwell.
Oh,
Yeah, you kind of cut
XRP?
out there for a second.
Oh, I said, do you hold XRP?
Me? No. Yeah, I mean, I leverage traded it in 2021, and what did I do? In a 24-hour period, I stayed up all night. I started with like 3K leverage traded while it was pumping, made it up to like 60K, and then lost pretty much all of it within that same 24-hour period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I learned some lessons at least. It was an expensive lesson, although I didn't really lose anything. I just lost unrealized gains in a way. Luke just needs dog. He's got that dog in him. Oh, Bean is the gatekeeping dog?
All right,
That's not fair.
okay, well, are we done? Because I'm probably gonna have to bounce soon if we're done.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. We've gone through enough here, and if y'all missed anything, just go back in the recording. I'll timestamp it. But yeah, let's do another one of these real soon. We'll do another one next week, and have your questions ready. We'll do all you want to do. But yeah, thanks T for making it.
Okay,
I know you were up late, and thank you all for being
early.
here, or early, yeah. But yeah, thank you all for being here for sure. Appreciate y'all.
Bye.
All right, bye.